It's the cold air we've got, not helped by the breeze. Temperatures struggling at the moment, 18 Celsius at best. But over the next few days, warmer air is going to come in, and through the weekend we're going to be looking at temperatures in the low to even to the mid-20s. So everything to look forward to. Just the 24 hours to go then. That tonight means more showers, and that tomorrow means further showers as well. Always the heaviest of any showers towards the east of the region and getting on towards the coast. The best of the drier, brighter weather than the further west you are in the region, but cold for all of us. That north-northwest breeze not helping any at all tomorrow. But already on Friday, a little increase in the temperatures, the sun coming out, still tiny risk of a shower, but much drier, and then that trend will continue into the weekend, sitting pretty with sunny spells and temperatures around 24, if not 25 Celsius, so everything to look forward to. That means then just 24 hours of showers, just 24 hours of cooler temperatures, and this nagging breeze we've got at the moment. Once we're on the other side of that, the weather really is looking up. That's all from me for now. Bye-bye.
Central weather with BMIBaby.com, the airline with tiny fares.
It's the 6th of July 2005. Remember that date? It was the date that a former student of Loughborough University convinced the Olympic Committee that Britain was the ideal country to host the Olympic Games. Lord Coe has now played his part. I suppose it's now up to the rest of us to prove that 2012 is going to be the greatest sporting event this world has ever seen. Thanks for being with us for this Central News Olympic special. It's been great for us. We've had a wonderful day since that announcement. It's a day I'm sure many of us will never forget. Now it's back to the ITV News Studios in London. Bye for now.
The Games of the 30th Olympiad in 2012 are awarded to the city of London. London.
We did it. London will host the 2012 Olympic Games. Good evening from Trafalgar Square in the heart of London. Tonight, an Olympic city. We were the underdogs. The French thought they had it in the bag, but no one quite believed we could come from so far behind. But in one glorious moment earlier today, we did. In tonight's special programme.
Here in London, he is the 2012 Olympic champion.
How we won the biggest prize in sport. We celebrate the Olympic vision that beat the world. What happens next? The massive building plan that begins right now. What will it mean for you? And Seb Coe strikes gold again, the story of the sporting hero who believed we could win and never gave up.
Lord Coe's about to have a beer, quiet beer and 19 noisy ones.
Good evening from Trafalgar Square in the heart of London, host city for the 2012 Olympic Games. Yes, pinch yourself. We've won it. The right to stage the greatest show on earth. It was a day of high drama in Singapore where the result was announced, and it prompted wild celebrations right here. This was the moment the dream became reality, and just look at that expression on Kelly Holmes's face. It says everything you need to know about what it all means for Britain. It was close, very close. We beat the favourites Paris by just 4 votes. The team leader, Lord Coe, has promised a bid where magic happens. The Queen hailed what she called an outstanding achievement. And tonight, Sir Stephen Redgrave is favourite with the bookies to light the Olympic flame in 7 years' time. First this evening to Singapore, where it has been a quite remarkable day, one which culminated, as John Irvine reports, in the most agonising of moments as London was proclaimed victorious.
An envelope containing big news. As individuals, we've all had to open them. But this one had the people of 2 nations holding their breath. Britain and France were hoping, quite literally, that the last word would be theirs.
The International Olympic Committee has the honor of announcing at the Games of the 30th Olympiad in 2012 are awarded to the City of London.
The ballroom here echoed to the sound of British jubilation. Pent-up emotions had been set free by the news they hadn't dare hope too hard for. What a surprise, for everyone involved with the London bid knew that this latest battle with the French had been another close-run thing. The Parisians looked crushed by the announcement.
On the other side of the room in front of the French delegation were 50 photographers, 4 live camera crews, and we just thought they'd been tipped off, they'd won. We all sat there suicidal.
When our name was read out, you know, I don't think I've had a feeling like it since probably I won the European Cup.
Emotional.
The Greece goal. You know, the emotion in that room between our team was absolutely incredible.
Bonjour l'automne.
This morning, it was the French who had to go first.
Je viens vous dire au nom de tous les Parisiens, welcome to Paris.
Their closing argument came in the form of this glitzy video summarising the case for Paris. The London team had the presentation relayed to their hotel where they watched it intently. And when their arch rivals finished, they showed the Olympic spirit and applauded.
Good afternoon and welcome to the London delegation.
The Princess Royal was the first to speak, stressing Britain's historical ties with the Olympic movement. Then came a video presentation focusing on the future and how the Games in London could inspire young people throughout the world. The last line in the commentary now rings so true.
Here in London, he is the 2012 Olympic champion.
On behalf of the youth of today, the athletes of tomorrow, and the Olympians of the future, we humbly submit the bid of London 2012.
There are plenty of smiling faces among the London team. The general consensus is that their presentation did go pretty well. Now, of course, comes another agonizing, nail-biting wait. Eventually came the voting, and the eliminations were exactly as predicted.
Madrid will not participate in the next round.
Moscow and New York were already gone, so then there were 2, and this was the scene at the London bid party as the seconds counted down.
The Games of the 30th Olympiad in 2012 are awarded to the City of London.
After 2 years of hard work, there was sheer delight at the prospect of 7 more.
They were just awesome. Seb did it. It was the final presentation.
Beating Paris, does it make it extra special?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What a party, what a night. John Irvine, ITV News, Singapore.
Well, big celebrations there in Singapore and big celebrations here in Trafalgar Square tonight, some 6 hours after that result came in. Well, you saw there the sheer delight and relief on the face of Seb Coe there. So what did it feel like to pull off such a remarkable win? ITV News presenter Alistair Stewart spoke to Lord Coe in Singapore.
Now you're about to go into the party.
I know.
Is Lord Coe about to let his hair down?
Lord Coe's about to have a beer. Quiet beer and 19 noisy ones. No, I've got a fabulous team to say thank you to. And that's the next main task, and then just to relax a bit.
2 final quick ones. What does it really mean to you personally?
It means everything. It's what I've dreamed of for years and years. You know, I've always believed that the Olympic Games would be the catalyst, or could be the catalyst, for doing what you and I have spoken about on so many different occasions about getting more young people into sport. And we now have the opportunity. And in just a great, great city, we can put on the most spectacular games.
And my final
We've got a second. We've got another VT. And Alistair joins us now. Lord Coe's won some big races, Alistair, but this must be one of the biggest. What swung it for him this time?
I think he said it in that clip that we just ran there, Mark. He had a vision, he had a dream, but he really believed it. He took us back to his childhood in that presentation when he first saw Olympians coming back in glory. He dreamt of a pair of running shoes. He joined his local club, and he saw from the very beginning that sport was something that could lift all kids of all classes up a notch, gave them something to unite around and to really believe in. The other thing, it's worth remembering, he's a consummate politician. He's the former Member of Parliament for Falmouth and Camborne down there in the West Country, former Chief of Staff to William Hague. He knows how to square people like Gordon Brown and Ken Livingstone. The final point I'd make is this. It's very reassuring when you see what's happened to now that sometimes the good guys win.
OK, Alistair Stewart in Singapore, thanks very much indeed. Well, as we saw, the announcement had tens of thousands of people here in London erupting in delight, but it wasn't the only place in Britain where people were overjoyed. Our sports editor, Tim Hewitt, was watching the celebrations.
To the city of London.
It was the day London and Britain went wild.
It's very good news.
Olympic gold medalist Kelly Holmes was jumping for joy and crying her eyes out in short order. You've still got tears in your eyes.
Yes. Oh, God, how amazing is that? Just couldn't believe it. You know, Olympics is such an emotional thing anyway, and obviously for me, it was just, I just really wanted it to be in London.
You'd really put your heart and soul into this bid, hadn't you?
Yeah, just, you know, everything, because I know how special it is.
There was once talk of a lack of public support. No evidence of that in Trafalgar Square.
I think we deserve to win. I think we put the best bid in, and I can't wait for Trixie World.
They were all excited, the young. Is this going to make a difference to your life?
Yeah, I think it is, especially like youth today. We're seen as a bit lazy, as not taking part in as much sports as we should be. So this Olympic bid is going to show people that we do have aspirations.
And the not so young.
I'll just keep my fingers crossed I'm still here. You know, I'm not dead when it happens.
Well, it's 7 years.
Well, this is it. I mean, I'll be nearly 80 then.
Well, it's hard to know what to say about all this. For several months, there had been a feeling that London was catching up and could do it, but nobody really wanted to believe that it was actually going to happen. Incredibly now, it has, and this city is in for the most extraordinary 7 years. But for now, it's party time, a time to celebrate and to dream the Olympic dream. Tim Hewitt, ITV News, Trafalgar Square.
Well, I'm joined now by two of Britain's former Olympic heroes, Sally Gunnell and Steve Cram. Sally, first of all, can you believe it?
I can't really. I mean, you know, I've been here a few hours now. The atmosphere is still amazing, and it's just starting to sink in. What a great day, and something to be really proud of.
What does it mean for British sport, do you think?
Oh, it's enormous. I mean, I think it just shows that how important sport is in this country. Just what's going to happen over the next 7 years. Everyone's going to be inspired, the money that's going to be put into it, and at the end of the day, we're going to have some fantastic facilities which sport needs. And Steve Cram, how inspiring is this for 10, 11, 12-year-old children thinking about the 2012 Games?
Hugely inspiring. I was listening to Seb yesterday talking about how when he was a 12-year-old at the Olympic Games was something. John Sherwood and Sheila Sherwood came home from Mexico City, his local club athletes. He went down to watch them parading their medals. As an 11-year-old myself, I went to see the Munich Olympic Stadium 2 weeks before the Olympics were held. And those little seeds then become those dreams. And for a lot of kids out there, they'll be going to swimming pools tonight all around the UK. They'll be going to running tracks, training that little bit harder, believing that perhaps one day they could be running the Olympics in London.
And briefly, Seb Coe doesn't like losing, does he?
No, he's got a pretty good record in the Olympics. I can testify to that. He knows how to win, and he's done a fabulous job. And I think he'd be the first to congratulate the whole team, though, but he led them really well.
All right, Steve Cram, Sally Gunnell, thanks very much indeed. Two of our Olympic greats there, but of course it'll be a new generation of athletes now hoping for glory in 2012, but none of us can underestimate the size of the task ahead to prepare for those games, and of course the cost. Penny Marshall looks at what winning the games means for the UK and our sporting future, starting at the site where the Olympic Stadium will be built.
Today it's derelict and it's desolate, but wind the clock forward and picture the scene in 2012 here. At the centre of it all, a magnificent Olympic Stadium. But this, however spectacular, is just the beginning. Roll out the good news from the bleakest of starts. A huge building project, new apartments, sporting arenas and roads will create thousands of jobs in London and beyond. But the bad news is all this will cost, and most likely more than we think.
The real cost of hosting an Olympics are considerably more than was in the bid document. The true cost will be something of the order of 10 to 12 billion pounds.
The budget for the 1996 Atlanta Games was slightly more than £500 million, but it ended up costing 1.5 billion. Sydney's original budget was 500 million, but that became 3 billion. Athens predicted 750 million, but the actual costs reached 3.5 billion. Past Olympic hosts say expect overspend, expect criticism, but it'll all be worth it.
At the end of the day, you do get a good outcome, I think, and you'll find that it will transform London's image. It'll really show it as modern and go ahead. You might even win the odd gold medal as a result, which will be a refreshing change, I'm sure.
And if there are medals to be won, these are the homegrown kids who'll win them. Who'd like to win the 2012 Olympics in London? It's in clubs like this, nationwide, that coaches hope the feel-good rollover factor will be felt and investment will follow.
It's not just the fact that we were going to have an Olympics here, but for the next 7 years, focus is going to be on sport. It'll have a tremendous effect, and we just can't wait now. We just need to get down and get on with the work and start producing the forward plans, and yeah, we will produce kids.
Tomorrow's champions.
I hope so, yes, I'm sure we will.
But will Olympic fever grip every child in every club, or just the sporting elite? Either way, the foundations of British sporting dreams were laid today. We now have 7 years to build on them. Penny Marshall, ITV News.
Well, nowhere will feel the impact of winning the Olympics more than the East End of London, just a few miles down the road here. It contains some of the poorest areas in the country. Nina Hussain takes a look at the East Enders' views.
Welcome to Stratford. 2 years ago, this was just a little-known tube station at the end of one of London Underground's many lines. 6 hours ago, it became one of the focal points for the 2012 Games, London's Olympic Station. But for today, it's the place where the real EastEnders are celebrating this historic win. Has it sunk in yet?
Oh no, but isn't it wonderful? Absolutely splendid. Well done, London.
What does it mean for the East End?
It means a lot. I mean, we need this funding. It couldn't have gone to a better place.
Stratford will come to symbolise the future that the East End was granted today. But what of its past, its poverty and its rich makeup of people? Welcome to Brick Lane. London is made up of more than 200 nationalities, speaking more than 300 languages, and nowhere is that fact better illustrated than here in the heart of the East End, where come 2012, athletes not only from Britain but from around the world will be guaranteed local support. Do you think that the diversity of the East End really helped secure this win for London?
Oh yeah, most definitely, because there's so many different cultures, religions, races in this country. We were striving to get it from day one, and now that we've got it, everyone's like, hooray, yes, we've got it, you know, so yeah, I think it's great that we've got it.
And so to Tower Hamlets, one of the most deprived areas in the whole of the UK, has this potentially life-changing news sunk in yet? Exciting times ahead?
Very, very, can't wait for it. Hopefully it should be really good for all the local kids and everywhere else around here. We can't wait.
Was there any part of you expecting this news today?
No, but I knew they was going to win. I knew it was better than France. And I know it's going to be better for the kids, and hopefully we get a few more gold medals.
The real EastEnders dared to dream, and this lunchtime, that dream came true. Watch this space witness a 7-year transformation for here and for them. There are critics, there are cynics who don't believe this regeneration will work. This is not a day for them. Nina Hussain, ITV News in the East End of London.
Well, we're returning to the Olympics later in the programme, but now today's other major story, the start of the G8 summit at Gleneagles, the world's 8th most